how's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Classic Gamer Bobby. And for this episode of Retro One and Done, we're going to be checking out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo. Let's check it out. Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Retro One and Done. We're going to be playing one of my favorite games for the Super Nintendo. I have a lot of favorite games for the Super Nintendo now that I think about it. But again, the Super Nintendo was just one of those systems that had a lot of great games on it. And what we're looking at right here is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. Now, bear in mind, this originally was an arcade game. So you had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game, then you had the sequel in the arcade, which is this game right here. However, there are some slight differences between this version and the arcade version. Also, there was a version for the Sega Genesis, which I also own, and it is called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Hyperstone Heist. Very similar game. Uses the same assets and sprites and everything. But the Sega Genesis version has some different levels, and a couple of different enemy types, and it's got some bosses in there, I think, that aren't in this version. I could be wrong on that last point there, but can't really remember. So we're gonna go ahead and pick one of my favorite Ninja Turtles. Now, a lot of people love Raphael. A lot of people love Michelangelo. There's a lot of people that are, you know, kind of middle of the ground with Leonardo. I like Donatello. I've always been a big nerd at heart. Always have been, always will be. And Donatello is, you know, of course, the science geeky nerd in the Ninja Turtles. So if we're watching the story here, Shredder and Krang, they steal the not the Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty. Wow. And so the Turtles are watching this, you know, on the television. So we take off to go and defeat Shredder and get back the Statue of Liberty, and then a whole bunch of crazy time traveling stuff ensues later. So as you can see, I'm Donatello. We do have a dash. We have an attack. Several different variations of an attack you can do. There's a special you could do. And this is one of the better beat-em-ups on the Super Nintendo. Wow, okay. Getting mollywopped here. I love that. The fact that they use the Super Nintendo's Mode 7 graphics right there to pull that off. And it looks really great. Of course, we got the slam. Now, while this can be a fun one-player experience, I really enjoy playing this with a partner. Having a second player, it's always fun. Of course, in the arcade, they actually had cabinets, arcade cabinets, where you could play up to 4 people at one time, so everybody could be a different Ninja Turtle. I didn't want that to happen. Dang it, this guy with the throwing stars. And I lost my first life. Alright! No salt, though. Like I said, I can't get mad at this game. The graphics are great. Sprite animation looks good. The entire use of Mode 7 in this game is great. Hang on one second, guys. Sorry guys, we're back. I had another phone call. Those phone calls are getting on my nerves. It's actually just a bunch of people calling and, yes, we would like your voter support for... Now I'm all one for voting. but, you know, don't call my house and try to persuade me to vote for this one person, you know. Let me make up my own mind. I'll leave it at that. Alright, so here we have our first boss. It's Baxter Stockman. Come on, Baxter. What do you got? Okay, so now his weapon has changed up. Okay. And I remember growing up, I had so many Ninja Turtle toys, and I used to watch the cartoon show that came on all the time. Now, I'm actually talking about the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon show that came on back in the early 90s. Late 80s, early 90s. And I specifically remember when the Ninja Turtles live-action movie came out back in, I believe it was 1990. 90 or 91. And I actually remember going to the theaters to see that. Really cool experience. And then later on, when it got released to VHS, there was actually a Pizza Hut coupon inside with the VHS that you could use to go buy a personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut, because Pizza Hut had all kinds of endorsements and this brand deal with the Ninja Turtles live-action movie. And if you've never seen it, I highly recommend watching it. It's actually a really good Ninja Turtles movie. And yeah, it combines a few elements from the cartoon show, but it also tries to incorporate, like, some of the first few issues of the original Ninja Turtles comic. And what a lot of people don't know is that Ninja Turtles was originally a comic way back in the, you know, late 70s, early 80s. And they didn't have different color headbands and all that. They weren't all different colored greens or anything like that. They all wore the same headbands, same colored headbands, and they were, you know, it was a really dark comic. You know, it was a lot darker than the cartoon series was. So, come on. Like I said, we're going to play through a couple of levels in this game, only because these levels do tend to go kind of quick. Alright, so you see this item right here? I'm going to wait to get that so you can do all that damage. Pretty cool. Alright. I hit it back at him, but it still hit me. I did a little too late. Get out of here. Alright. Here we have our next boss. This is Metalhead. He's a mechanized Ninja Turtle. Do believe he was in the original cartoon show. He wasn't in the comic, I don't think. I think I got him stuck in a pattern here. Oh! Sucker punch me. Come on, man. Come on, dude. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, this game's incredibly fun, like I said, especially if you have, you know, a second person that's able to actually sit there and play with you. That was another thing back in the day. Couch co-op, man. We didn't have the internet. You know, if it was a two-player game, that's how you did your multiplayer, you know. And there were some systems back then that, you know, allowed for up to 4 players, you know, like the, you could do that with the multi-tap with the PlayStation, the N64, straight out of the box, you were able to play 4 players. You could do it with the Super Nintendo with the multi-tap for certain games. There were several other systems. You usually had to have a multi-tap system with it, though. Got him. It's a cool little level right here. Sewer surfing. Some other things to note about this game, other than the graphics, is the music. I mean, music is incredible in this game. Now, if these things aren't a ripoff of the Xenomorph from Aliens, I don't know what is. They are just killing me. Alright, so what we get? 20-foot soldiers, 5 pizza monsters, 4 pizzas. Alright, what do we have here? I think it's the Rat King? Can't remember. Yep. Now, funny story, back in the day, you might have heard me mention earlier that about the toy line that they had. Well, the Rat King actually had this vehicle that he's on as a toy. And of course, alongside the Ninja Turtles, I was really big into the Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters were my thing back in the day as well. And I'm referring to the original Ghostbusters movies and the cartoon show that came out in the late 80s, early 90s called The Real Ghostbusters. If you haven't seen that cartoon series, I suggest you check it out. We're going to call it quits on this level right here, guys. So I'm going to pause it, set the controller down real quick. And like I said, this game brings back a lot of nostalgia for me because I remember my friends and I would sit here and play this over and over and play through all the different difficulties and things like that just to see if something different would happen in the game. The graphics, in my opinion, they're great. Do they still hold up to today's standards? I mean, well, you got to think a lot of things nowadays are three-dimensional or, you know, high-res polygons, high-res 2D animation. So it's kind of not fair to, in my opinion, to compare and contrast that way. You have to look at it like, all right, back then, for these, you know, for this time period, how did it hold up? That's how I'm trying to gauge this. And I think, you know, with the use of the Mode 7 graphics, the sprite animations, you know, the colors, they really pop. The music is phenomenal. The button presses are really responsive. I'm going to give this game a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for the Super Nintendo. Really great beat 'em up. If you haven't played it, you can actually find this version on the Super Nintendo. I remember they released a HD remake of this on the PS3 a while back on the PSN network for the PS3. I don't know if you can find it anymore. There is an alternate kind of same-ish version of this on the Sega Genesis. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Hyper Stone Heist. So those are probably your two best bets to find it. I can't remember if it's on the SNES Mini Classic, and I don't know if it's on like Nintendo's eShop for Switch. I can't quite remember. But like I said, if you can find a way to play it, play it. 9 out of 10 for me. It's great stuff. Great beat 'em up action. Great co-op action if you have a second player. Be sure to check it out if you can, guys. That's all I got for you today on this episode of Retro One and Done. And remember, guys, until next time, keep on gaming.
Yeah.